When I bought this book, I thought I will laugh like this. And I didn't laugh like this. Disappointed. Why I bought this book? Because I seen post on Facebook when one woman asked advice to read some humor book where she can laugh and laugh and laugh. And mostly of people advise her this book. And I love good humor, satiric books, one of my favorite genre. And I just like, right, I need to read this book. I didn't quite understood where I should laugh in this book, where it was murder, where he want to the correction come in Vladivostok, or maybe when he sit in the prison, maybe there I should laugh. I didn't have so much emotion when I read this book, just sometimes I smile, sometimes I feel sad, sometimes I'm okay. Most of the time I just was okay in this book. Okay, let's first to talk what it's about this book, because probably most of you haven't read this book and I so much already want to discuss this book, so let's just at least to talk what is going on in this book. You will have some idea about this book. The book is talk about old man who is turned 100 years old. His name is Alan, and he escaped from his room in the old folks' home with his slippers. He escaped from the window and went to the bus station. There he met with some man and stole his luggage, took bus, went in the random destination. He had just certain amount of money, so he got to some random bus stop and just walked. He seen a building, came to the building, and there he met with another old man. He was 50, 60, 70, we don't know. We know just that he is kind of old man, and his name is Julius. Julius invited Alan to his house, and after a few hours, young man from who he stole luggage find him in that house, and there we find out that he part of the criminal group who called themselves Never Again. This group Never Again, it's only few members. It's Bucket, Bolt, Carcass, and the leader of the group is Boss. Why is this group called Never Again? Because Boss one day he went to the prison, he didn't like that, and he decided that his criminal group and be more careful in the future, because he decided never again back to the prison. So young man Bucket, he find old man in the house, and Alan hit his head. Julius put him to the freezer, and they forgot to turn off the freezer. So next morning they find that the Bucket frozen to the death. They decided to run from the house. They rid off from the corpse, and they met one man whose name is Benny, and he sells hot dogs. Alan find out that in the luggage there's 50 million crowns, right? Because it's Sweden. They suggest to Benny that they want to buy his car. It was Mercedes 1988, and he would be chauffeur. So he agreed, and they went to some random direction. They understood that police started looking for them, and they decided to find some quiet spot, and they just find a random farm, and there was a woman, and Benny right away started like her, and he called her Beauty. Benny, Beauty, Alan, and Julius, they decided to work together. It would be much easier and share the money between each other. Beauty had elephant, right? It's quite shocked, but she had elephant, and when it's another member of this criminal group, Never Again, Bolt, and he started to threaten them with his gun, Alan told the elephant sit down on the bolt, so elephant sit on the bolt and bolt died. So they rid off of another corpse and decided went to the Benny's brother. On their way they meet with the boss and a little bit crash his car. Boss still was a little bit alive. They took him to Benny's brother, and Benny's brother actually find out that it's his old friend. They decided to work together. Police didn't find anything, because when they rid off of the corpse, they understood that one corpse was found somewhere in Africa and another was in Asia. So they didn't have enough evidence to arrest them. 6 of them stay free. They decided went to the body, because in the body Alan had a old good friend. Her name is Amanda, and Amanda had her own hotel. They went all 6 of them and plus elephant all together to the valley to Amanda, and they seen that after some time Alan and Amanda they started to live in the one room. Alan's adventure, he meet with all these people and he was told them about his past, and you should be agree that for 100 years probably he had what to say about his past. And just like fast, he became orphan when he was 10 years old. His father went to the Russia and died there because of Bolsheviks came. His mother died because of some kind of disease, and in 10 years he stayed alone. He didn't have enough money or anything, and he decided to learn about bombs and explosion and all this stuff. And he met with one man. He's from Spain, and he invited him to the Spain. And when he came with his friend to the Spain, it started to be Spanish Civil War. Alan didn't have any choice than to participate. And what he did, he explored the bridges, and war was done. He took first ship what it was, and it was to the USA. So he went to USA and became part of Alias. That started to be a Second World War, and he became the part of Alias. Afterwards, he went to the China for the purpose of making war against of Mao Zedong, and before to Iran, attempt to assassinate Churchill happened to be in Russia. He had some fighting with Stalin, and after this, Stalin sent him to the correction camp in Vladivostok. He put to the fire whole Vladivostok and ran to the North Korea, and there he met with Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong gave him money because before he saved his life, and he flew to Bali and spent there 15 years. And that's how he met with Amanda, because he escaped from Russia with his new friend Herbert. Amanda served in hotel, and Herbert with Amanda, they married, they had 2 children, and Alan been somewhere next to them. And afterwards they decided Paris, and Paris Alan met with another American president, and he asked to be the spy in Russia. So he went again to the Russia. After some years he stopped to be spy, and he back to Sweden, bought some house, spent some time in that house, had a cat. Fox ate his cat. He exploded this fox with his house, and that's how it happened, being in the old folks home where he escaped to meet Julius. So that was short. This book, it's very hard to read, and I understood that it doesn't matter what about book, what information you can find in the book, it's mostly about how author writes. This we have a Sweden author, so probably it was bad translation, and in the Swedish maybe it's different, but in general this book is kind of hard to read. And first, what we can see in the book is that life is unpredictable, so don't overthink is what is doing main character. No matter what is bringing life to him, how much unexpected situation would happen to him, he just goes with the flow. Do you want to explore that bridges? Sure. Let's escape from the prison, of course. Do you want to be a spy? Absolutely. So we can see that no matter what happened to him, he absolutely neutral about everything. Everything except of alcohol, because the main reason for everything for him it would be vodka there or no, it would be food there or no, doesn't matter what's the food, but it's always supposed to be vodka. And that's what I don't like so much about this book, that it's so much alcohol there. Everyone drink all the time, they're drinking. And again, I'm not sure, maybe it's some different mentality, because we should remember that Swedish author, maybe it's their culture, I don't know. I never been in Sweden, I've been in Norway, and I didn't notice that they drink there a lot, because alcohol is very expensive there. So maybe in Sweden they have different situation, because we see that the most important is vodka for the main character. Even in the Russia, in the correction camp, he spent 5 years and everything was fine for him, just except that there wasn't vodka, and he extremely wanted vodka, so he decided to run. So he explored whole camp in whole Vladivostok just to get vodka. We see that Alan accidentally was involved for the most major historical events. I didn't before know about Spanish Civil War. Now I know that it was there. It was Cold War. It was with Mao Zedong problems. It was North Korea. I mean, it was absolutely everything. So if you like history, probably you would like read this book also. It's about everything and about nothing. He met with Truman, with Stalin, with Mao Zedong, with Kim Jong-un, and others. Mostly he was meet with presidents and other leaders of other countries. So it was mostly in the humor and satiric way, but I quite didn't get this humor. Don't take life too seriously. How it happened with Alan. It was murders, it was prisons, it was bombs, it was other many situations, but he was absolutely calm about everything. All these dangerous and seems like not funny moments. For me, it was more like neutral. I understood that probably everything what it was in this book. If it would be thriller, it would be extremely good thriller. If it would be historical fiction, probably it would be extremely good historical fiction, and it would be plenty of your emotional there, but it's a humor book, so it was just play. Another what I think is important in the book that age doesn't matter, and I agree with this. I think age doesn't matter. Matter is how many diseases you have in the certain age, because you can suffer in 10 years, you can suffer in 30 years, and you can suffer in 100 years. Mostly of your condition, of how many disease, of your shape, about your mental health, about all this stuff. What is the secret to live until 100 years? Book didn't show us. Probably some hints that you need to be around other people, to be communicate, less stress, be more neutral and with humor to the any situation what's happened. So what this book tried to show that even 100 years is not your limit, because at 100 years Alan escaped from the old house. He started to have plenty of adventure, kill few people, get a lot of money and have elephant, and went to Bali, even start to have some relationship with some woman. So I'm agree that everything in your head and all limits only in your head. I disagree that vodka will help you. It's in the book, because he all the time was drunk and he all the time drink vodka, so I disagree that it will help you, but I agree that probably sport, no stress, good sleep and good food will higher your chances to get to 100 years old, and what is important, still be healthy. I think that's the most important. I think also it's very good shows in the book how it's important to have the skill fast adapted to any situation, because our life is very unpredictable, but depends on how fast you can adapt it to the new situation. It's very influential for your future. One of the reasons how fast adapted to the new situation, you shouldn't have any expectation. You should enjoy simple life. And then if it would be better than simple life, so that's great. If it wouldn't be, so you would be fine even with simple food, simple house, simple everything. So don't have a high expectation, and I think that's what is make your life a little bit easier. Alan Carson didn't ask much of life. He just wanted a bed, lots of food, something to do, and now and then a glass of vodka. If this requirement were met, he could stand most things. The camp in Vladivostok offered Alan everything he wished for except the vodka. So we see that he didn't have so much expectation from the life. Mostly what is his requirement is vodka, right? And even camp in Vladivostok, what is plenty people are suffering, didn't want to be there. He was fine to be there, just they didn't give him any vodka, so that's why he decided to escape from there. Unfortunately, book also shows the minus to live too long because mostly people they're not able to live 100 years old and they die. So the longer you live, probably the more people who you know you will lose. And that's very sad. And I think that's mostly the reason to be active, to be open, to be social, that get new people around yourself. And that will help you to feel not so lonely and with support when you will be much older. Another great example, it was Amanda. We see that she was service in Bali. She wasn't smart at all, but she had so much courage that first she decided to be political, and she became political. She went to Paris and she became a very high politician. She met with president there, with his wife and other main people in Paris. Wasn't some way funny and she says something silly. Other people, well, she has so much jokes because how this smart person can know the simple stuff. But even when she makes some extremely silly mistakes, people just think that she is joking or she being ironic or something like this. But nobody even starts to think that she actually not smart enough. I think that was a great example how it's most people who is doesn't have enough education or who is not smart enough and they had some high position in their life only because they are very active, they're social, and most important, they're extremely confident and they think that they can have it. I a little bit dislike the relationship between Alan and Amanda because Herbert, the friend of Alan, he met with Amanda and they married, they have children, and after some years, Herbert died. And Alan started to live in Sweden, Amanda back to Bali with her sons, and she owned hotels there, right? So she has a lot of money. Here, after some years, Alan showed up and they start to have relationship together. And that's a little bit, I think, weird when you start to have relationship with a woman of your closest friend, right? He died a long time ago, but still I think it's a little bit weird. Another what it was interesting about Amanda also, that when she met with Alan, she already been 80 something years old, and then it started to be internet era, and she decided to learn everything about internet, how it works, and she already had her blog where she was extremely active, and I think it's another shows how to live longer. It's also time to be interested of everything, to be active, to be social, and have some romantic relationship with others, because the most what is keep you alive, good high emotionals, and what is can be better than romantic relationship. So conclusion of the book, humor very poor for me. I didn't understood where to laugh here. If you find where to laugh, please left your comment. Let's together try to find where to laugh in this book. But some people they say that they laugh all the time. I didn't understood where, but I understood that we all have different sense of humor. My sense of humor is more satiric, sarcasm, and black humor. But here actually was murders and all of these bad situations. So it's supposed to be black humor a lot here, but seems it's still not for me. I also like how Arthur so much talk about Sweden. He mentioned many Swedish towns, and when they were traveling, you can see on the map how they were traveling through the different towns, and there was amazing that he shows a little bit their culture and their country. I absolutely wanted to visit Sweden. I think it's a beautiful country, and this author a little bit more encouraged me to visit his country. Of course, this book has is 20 plus, as what we were talk earlier with you, but I think it's nothing so much secrets he opened for us, right? I feel forced myself to continue read this book. So this book not for me, you can try and maybe you would like this book. And let me know in the comment, are you going to read this book or no? Or if you read it, you like it or no. So thank you that you've been with me and see you on my next video.